AZ-500 simulation questions. Domain 1, Manage Identity and Access, Part 3. Hello, my name is Ciolito Rodriguez, and here we will continue in this series of questions in preparation for the AZ-500 simulation exam. If you have not had a chance to watch my previous videos, then do so to get ready to pass this exam. Question 21. You configure an access review as shown in the screenshot below. The access review must ensure that users can review their own access. Reviewers must be able to see systems recommendations based on user activity. You want to enable Azure to automatically remove all access for users who were denied. If reviewers do not respond to an access review within the configured time period, user access should automatically be removed. What configuration should you change based on the screenshot? All right, so let's see. So the frequency, it's monthly. Duration 7 days, and never, so there's no end date over there. Users, it's everyone. The review role is the password administrator, so basically we in this case we want to see who's a password administrator, who has that role, right? This is for users to review themselves rather than a manager. You want users to basically respond to whether they still need to be a password administrator, right? And then open the completion settings, auto apply results to resorts, it's enabled. If users don't respond, then remove access. Now, another piece over here that it's important, it says that if you the users should use recommendations. Yep, so reviewers must be able to respond to see system recommendations, and we see that the recommendation show recommendation is disabled over here. So just keep that in mind, because basically that's basically the question it's looking at. So the answer here should be well, I'm not going to spoil that, but I think that you already should guess what it is. The correct answer is C, show recommendations. The show recommendation settings, when enabled, will show reviewers the system recommendation based on user activity. The if reviewers don't respond option tells, or rather says, the action that will be taken when an access review is not completed within the configured period. And the auto apply results to resource option will enable you to remove all users' access that were denied automatically. And finally, the reviewer setting allows you to set a group of users who can perform the access review or enable users to complete their own review. Question 22. Your company has an Azure Enterprise Subscription. You want to give another user named Laura permission to create subscriptions that will be billed to the company's account. Choose the appropriate choices and place them in the correct order. The correct order here is first, use the get AZ enrollment account commandlet, for Laura to look at the object ID. The second option is to use the get AZ AD user commandlet to retrieve Laura's object. And then finally, run the new A0 assignment definition command. So basically you should choose the following. So here it's more information for you to review about this, the commands that are needed to answer this question correctly. Once you have saved the enrollment account object ID and the user object ID of the account that you want to be a member of the RBAC honor roll, you must grant that account the RBAC honor roll. And this can be done using the new A0 assignment commandlet. There's more information about how to accomplish that using the CLI as well. Question 23. Currently, users can consent to applications that read their data within the Nutex organization. You need to prevent the ability of users to consent themselves. Which commandlet would you use to disable users from consenting to applications? The correct answer here is B. Set the MSO company settings. This commandlet, it's used to configure company level settings within a tenant. And so basically, this should be an easy question to answer, because the only command that actually modifies stuff here, which you will want to do, is the set command. The get, so there are two get commands, which is only to get information, and the connect MSL service is only to connect to Office 365. Question 24. You are an administrator for Dream Suites and need to transfer an existing Azure subscription to an account that is located in the Very Good Azure AD tenant. What application should you use to transfer the subscription as the billing administrator? The correct answer here is C, the Azure Account Center. The Azure Account Center, which can be accessed directly at account.azure.com/subscriptions, can be used to view billing information and to make changes to subscriptions. The account section within the Azure portal will allow you to transfer the Azure subscription to another account as the billing administrator. Question 25. You are creating a new web-based lead generation application called Lead Gen for the Metroil sales department. The application should only be accessible for Metroil sales members by accessing the URL metroil.com/leadgen. All authentication traffic should use the Metroil namespace. You are registering the Lead Gen application within the single Metroil directory as shown below. In other words, this account in this organization directory only basically means that only the users in this company, users or guests, right, will have access to that application. There's no multi-tenancy availability for this account. Only the members of that account. And redirect URI. So the answer is around here. We're missing here the actually the redirect URI. So before proceeding, what must be configured in order to meet the requirements, right? And again, so the correct answer is in a second. Almost gave you the answer there, but anyway, so the correct answer is C, the redirect URI. So the redirect URI option is used to configure the URI that an authentication response is returned to their authentication by the Metroil user. To meet the requirements, the web option should be selected along with providing the return path for authentication responses. This option will meet the requirement to configure all authentication traffic to use the Metroil namespace. Question number 26. You are activating privileged identity management within your organization. Currently, there are 6 administrator tasked with managing Azure Active Directory within the Dream Suites Corporation. And here are those 6 administrators. Now, you want to make sure that user 6 can activate privileged identity management within your organization. What role change should you make for this user? So currently, the user 6 has the password administrator role. Can he do that to configure privileged identity management, or does he need another role? Well, that's what the question is asking. And the answer is no. As a password administrator, you cannot configure PIM or privileged identity management. You need to be a global administrator in order to do that. So the global administrator has full access to all features found within Azure Active Directory, and this role is needed first to enable the privileged identity management within an organization. It will allow user 6 to activate and set up privileged identity management. None of the other roles would be able to do that in this case. Question 27. The Nutex Corporation Access Audit Team feels that some roles in the Azure Cloud contain privileges that users do not require. You are asked to make changes to the access policies and role management on Azure. You want to start exploring the possibility of using custom Azure roles. Which of the following statements about custom Azure roles are true? Select all that apply. The correct answers here are A, custom roles can be shared across multiple subscriptions. B, custom roles can be assigned to users, groups, and service principal at the subscription resource group and resource scopes. And D, to add privileges to a custom role, the allow and deny properties of the role definition must be updated. Important points here to mention is that when creating custom roles, it is necessary to understand the resource provided operations available to define your permissions. The privileges are specified by the operations. You would add the relevant operations to the actions or no actions properties of the role definition. For data operations, the operation must be added to the data actions or not data action property. Also, the maximum number of custom roles for an Azure AD is 5,000, not 1,000 as stated in the question. For specialized clouds such as the Azure Government or Azure Germany and Azure China 21 ViaNet, the limit is 2,000 custom roles. The ID property of a custom role does not control who can create, delete, update, or view the custom role. And the assignable scopes property defines 2 things. It specifies the scopes that the role is available for assignment and controls who can create, delete, update, or view the custom role. And question 28. You have enabled Azure AD Privileged Identity Management or PIM for the Dream Suites tenant. You are configuring membership settings for the billing administrator role for several users within the finance department, as shown below. Currently, MFA is enabled for all users within the finance department. The settings for this assignment should ensure that MFA is required. There is permanent eligible assignment. Approval is required to activate, and administrators should be notified of open activation. What configuration should you change based on the screenshot here. So you need to change something here, and these are the choices. What is it? The correct answer is A, permanently eligible. The permanently eligible setting is used to ensure that the user with this assignment is permanently eligible and permanently assigned. You are, question 29. You are the administrator for the Nutex Corporation. You want to define a custom RBAC role named Virtual Machine Operator. Role members of that custom role should have permission to monitor and restart Azure virtual machines in 3 different subscriptions. You have the following script. So here's the script, and the missing pieces are what it says missing, right? And then these are the choices. So which actions do you have to apply to the section labeled missing in the graphic, and choose all that apply. The correct answers here are A, on line 7, replace missing with read. B, on line 9, replace missing with read as well. On line F, choice F, on line 11, replace missing with restart, because you need to be able to restart the VMs. And H, on line 10, replace the missing with a start as well. So those are the choices. And this is the, line 7, line 9, line 10, and line 11. This is the screenshot now with the correct choices. So you should set the action for the storage to Microsoft.storage read, because when you start an Azure virtual machine, it has to read the data from the storage account. The compute also, you need to be able to read, because when you start an Azure virtual machine, you have to be able to access to the virtual machine's properties. You need to be able to read that. You should set the action for the virtual machine to start on the Microsoft.compute.virtual machines start /action, so that you get the starting permission to all operations of the virtual machine. And here you need the restart, because also you need to be able to restart virtual machine as well. Question 30. You need to configure permission scopes for a new web-based lead generation application called Lead Gen that is registered within the Dream Suites directory permissions, the Dream Suites directory. Now, permissions should be scoped only to manage a user's Teams apps within the Lead Gen team, and to upgrade them on behalf of the logged in user. So these are the permissions, and these are the choices. What is it? The correct answer here is B, Teams app read write. The Teams app that read write permission allows the ability to read, install, upgrade, and uninstall Teams apps for the sign-in user. This permission provides the ability to manage a user's Teams apps only within the Lead Gen team, and to upgrade them on behalf of the logged in user. The other choices here, or the only choice over here that has the rewrite that is needed, is this one, but then this one applies to all apps, and in this case only for that app. Question 31, and this is the last question on this set of questions on this video. You are the administrator for the Nutex Corporation. You have deployed an Azure storage account, and you have two ARM templates. ARM1, deployment of your Azure Windows VMs, and ARM2, deployment of two Azure VNets. The user account name Nutex user1 has to get the permission to successfully run ARM1. User account name Nutex2 has to get the permissions to successfully run ARM2. Neither of these accounts should receive more permissions than are required to deploy the ARM template. So again, the principle of least privilege again in place here. Which user account has to become a member of which built-in Azure RBAC role? In the work area, which is this, match the role to the corresponding user account right here. So the correct answer is the Nutex user 1 must have the virtual machine contributor role, and Nutex user 2 must have the network contributor role. And here is the explanation why those user accounts need to have those respective roles. All right, so this is the conclusion of the part 3 of this AZ-500 simulation questions. On the next set of questions, part 4, again, we'll continue with the domain 1, manage identity and access.